Hey guys, this video will be about how to blunt your tips. I just went through all my videos and tried to find the question. I forget who asked it, but I've had quite a few people ask about how to blunt your tips, and there's videos on how to blunt your tips all over YouTube, so you can check those out. But off the top of my mind, I can't remember if there's any that I've seen. I've seen a bunch of good tips that were blunted, but I couldn't find a video that showed exactly how, except for the one for the log sculptus. So I'm going to make this one this one specifically for you guys who are subscribed to me, so you can see. Hopefully, I think the lighting is making me look like I have like black eyes, so ignore that if you can. And then I have my animal behind me. I don't know if you see him. My room's super messy. I just got home from out of town from forever. Anyway, so I'm going to show you this. Hopefully you can see this. Here's one of my dreads, my front one. So hopefully you can see, like, there's a little bit of loose hair hanging off the tip of it. But usually what I do, and what you could, even if your dread was fully loose on the tip, this would still work. So, yeah. So if you can just imagine, what you would do is you would grab it. Mine is, I can grab it all the way on the end because it's dreaded all the way to the tip. But if yours wasn't, you would grab it right where it's the end of the actual dreaded, knotted up, tangled spot is, and you would hold that. And then you would stick it through. Man, I really hope you could see this, and this isn't just a waste of time. So you would take your dread. I have the hook pointing towards my face. So you just stick it through, one to the side, feed it down, and out of the bottom, which you can barely see that. Hold on. Let me go a little further down. You just stick it in like maybe I'm like a half an inch away from the bottom of the actual dreaded part, and you just, I have like the hairs I need to pull in. I kind of have them up against my thumb, right about here. And I pull, so I feel it, and then once I feel them pull in, I push against my thumb, and I feel it go into the dread, and then I push the opposite way, pull towards. That way the hook is releasing the hair, and you're not just going in there grabbing hairs and just yanking the crap of it out of the dread, which will do a lot of damage and will break a lot of hairs and be super counterproductive. So I just go in, and I cover it with my hand or whatever, but so you can't see it, but I'll try and show you. And I can feel those hairs that I need, and I grab some of them. And then once it goes inside the dread, I kind of stop pulling. So, well, I mean I pull, but I go the other way and release the hair. So I go in, pushing, like from the side view, go in, up against my thumb, I push against my thumb to grab those hairs, and then as soon as it goes inside the dread, it'll stay in that hook. So you don't really have to worry about that. Release it, if that makes sense. You'll feel it. If you're doing it right, you'll feel that you're doing it the right way, because you won't hear a bunch of little clicks. And you know what I mean by clicks, with the when it's going here and you hear through, when it's going through and you hear that, like all that. I probably sound like an idiot, but that whole noise, I don't really want to do that, but you probably need to know what I was talking about. But you'll hear it go through smoothly if you're doing it right. So I go in, push those hairs up against my thumb, and I pull it back through the dread. And I'm pulling it back through real loosely so it's not catching other hairs inside. And it is important that your crochet hook, this one is 0.6, or for the people in Europe, they say 0.6. Yeah, and so I mean, it's pretty much all pulled back in. I only had a couple hairs. And this is all, I don't really use the crochet hook for anything but pulling in a couple hairs that fall to my tips sometimes after like a bunch of washes or something. But that's pretty much how you do that, but you can do that with any part of the dread. So yeah, any of this loose hair right here, if you can see that, I pull it up against my thumb, so it's feeding down the tip of my thumb, and I'll go in, and I always go at an angle downward, so I'm pulling the hair as they come out of the dread. You're grabbing them and you're pulling back, not just into it, like so it goes like that, where it's easier for them to come back out, but back up and into it, upwards. And with the reason I like doing that method, and not just using a loose hair tool to pull a bunch of hairs in. Sorry, I'll get back into the frame in just a second. The reason that I like that method is because you're pulling individual hairs in at a time. What tends to happen if if you use a loose hair tool, the normal size one, not the new small one or whatever, and you pull your whole tip in at once, you're going to have this weird, like, come on, go in, this weird, your dread it will be blunted, but it'll kind of go down, then kind of swell up on the end, and the tip will be almost like a fist, like your arm, and your fist is bigger than the end of your arm type thing, and it looks kind of retarded, and you can see where all the hair actually sucks up into the tip, and it doesn't look that good. So the good thing about using the crochet hook or the lock sculpt to do that is that you pull in individual hairs at a time, and so since you're going in, pulling in 2 to 10 hairs at a time, depending on the size of your hook, then you're taking it out, moving it, doing it through a different way, instead of pulling all the hair in and through one spot and one hole in the dread, which would make it easier for the hairs to fall out. You're pulling them in through different sides and holes and loops and all that stuff, so it's way easier for them to stay tangled up in there and then rest in in their positions. Yeah, and so that's how I believe it works better than pulling all the hair in at once with the loose hair tool. But not to discredit the loose hair tool, because that does work really well for what it is used for if you use it right. But yeah, I believe that's all. So hopefully this video makes sense and you guys, this helps. So if you have any more questions, let me know and I will post another video dealing with whatever your question is. So see you guys later.